G'day there guys, it's your Aussie Hubby Markee, back at it again with another r/legal advice video. Now if you love me as much as I love you, you'd head on down to one of my new playlists down below. Now, with that out of the way, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some good content. Our first post comes from user Pet Theft Throw, titled, "Had my cat for 3 years. Stranger now claiming he lost cat as kitten and is threatening to sue for return, from PA. Over 2 years ago, a stray cat wandered into my yard. He had no tags and no microchip, and had multiple infected bite wounds. He was also unneutered. I had his wounds treated and made a good faith effort to find the owner. This included posting flyers, giving a description and contact info to the local vet offices and shelters, and posting to the community Facebook page, and places like Craigslist and the forum for the local paper. No one came forward. After his initial wounds healed, we discovered his hind leg had been broken and had healed wrong. He needed a major operation to fix it, and was neutered at the same time. Though I had originally planned to find him a new home, well, after months of physical therapy and bonding, he wasn't going anywhere. Fast forward to a few months ago. Someone contacted me on social media claiming to be the cat's original owner. The cat had a distinctive marking, and he does have a photo that appears to be the same cat as a kitten. He claimed that they allowed the cat outside, and one night he didn't return. They assumed that he was dead, and per the man himself, made no effort to find him. The cat was less than 6 months old when he disappeared, and less than a year when I found him. The man claimed his daughter was devastated and wants the cat returned. I did not confirm that the cat was the same animal, since I can't know for sure. But I did say if it was the same cat, I've now had him for longer than the original potential owner. 6 months versus almost 3 years. Due to this, and the fact that he had no tag or chip, and the owners never searched for him, I don't feel I have to return him. I have not contacted the man since, but he continues to message me at least once a week, and is now threatening to take me to court. I have not replied. Is this something I need to worry about? Should I look into getting a lawyer? If he did try to sue for cat custody, would he have a case? Considering the timeline, it is likely that the cat's leg was broken while in the care of the owner, and my vet is willing to testify to that. Would that increase the likelihood I would win if he tried to sue? I'm really not trying to give up the cat. I've paid over $5,000 getting him healthy. But more important than the money is the simple fact that I love the furry little jerk. I don't want him going back to a home that neglected him and let him roam without even the most basic care. I don't believe the man knows where I live. My social media was pretty locked down as far as personal info in the first place. I don't actually know how he found me though, and that makes me nervous. If he continues contacting me, is there anything I can do legally to discourage that? And Fnurry says, there's no such thing as cat custody. Cats are property. He can sue you in small claims for the value of a kitten. So, nothing? Ignore him. If sued, respond. Scratch Shadow says, coincidentally, I just got out of a cat-related civil court case, and I live in PA. I've been doing a lot of research over the last few months, and there are a few things that I've learned that might help you. Also, please note that I am not a lawyer, and in the event that this guy does file a civil claim against you, I highly recommend you get representation, or at least consult a lawyer before proceeding. There are a few factors that really matter in how this situation would proceed legally. The most important factor is whether or not the other party has any proof of ownership over the animal. Adoption papers, technically. If he doesn't have any documentation, then he has virtually no case against you. If he does, then other factors will have a greater weight in determining the outcome of the case. And fortunately, I think they all lean in your favor. Attempts made by the finder, you, to identify if/who the owner of the animal is. You made several attempts to locate the owner. Even though the cat had no identification or a microchip to suggest that it was a pet, when paired with the cat's poor condition, your conclusion that the cat was a stray was completely logical. Expenses incurred/care of the cat. By showing that you have been responsible for the medical and general expenses of the cat for the past 2 years, you can establish your possession of the cat for an extended period of time. In addition, the other party would likely be responsible for paying those expenses you incurred for caring for their animal, if they can prove ownership at all. The amount of time that has gone by. You've had this cat for 2+ years. The guy assumed the cat was dead, and never responded to any of your numerous attempts to locate the owner of the animal. Not only that, but kittens can't be separated from their mother until they're at least 12 weeks old, and are usually put up for sale between 14 to 18 weeks of age. Even if he did buy the cat, he couldn't have had it for more than 3 months before he lost it. Although cats are still considered property in PA, in my recent experience, at least some, if not a substantial amount of consideration is given to the more subjective details, like these in cases involving pets. I wouldn't give in too easily, and even if he can provide documentation, you may still have a good shot at keeping the cat. I'd talk to an attorney and see what they think you should do if he tries to sue you for the cat. In case you want to read about it for yourself, you can visit this website, which gives detailed looks at lost pet laws in PA. Hope this helps, and good luck. And the link just goes to animallaw.com, which talks about the laws. Now to the update of the story. I quote-unquote stole and abandoned cat. Situation is escalated, and person knows my address. Recap. Years ago, I rescued an injured cat. The cat had no ID or chip, and I made a good faith effort to locate the owner. I ended up fostering and eventually adopting the cat, and spent a good bit of money to repair his broken leg. Earlier this year, I started getting messages on social media from someone claiming to be the cat's original owner. They admitted they never searched for the cat after he disappeared, but did have pictures of a kitten with the same distinctive markings. They wanted the cat returned. I refused because they didn't have firm proof that it was the same animal. I've now had the cat substantially longer than they supposedly did, 6 months versus 3 years, and the cat's injuries would have occurred while under their care if they did indeed originally own him. On advice from the good people here, I blocked further messages. Yesterday, I got a letter in the mail demanding the return of the cat. Previously, they were only contacting me on social media, which did not have my home address or any identifying information. I don't know how they found out where I live, but I'm now very worried they might try to steal the cat. I have home security and the cat is indoor only, and chipped. I'd like to think that the guy wouldn't be dumb enough to break and enter, but clearly he isn't firing on all cylinders to begin with. Should I file a police report? Can I even do that if they haven't broken any laws? The letter didn't contain any specific threats, just demands. Is there anything I can do legally to discourage further contact? Could a lawyer do something like a cease and desist letter? I have no idea why this dude wants the cat that he wrote off as dead years ago back so goddamn badly, but Kitty is damn happy and healthy and sassy and not going anywhere. I don't want to spend my life afraid to run out to the store though, so any advice would be much appreciated. Eka Sirif says, a common scam is to claim to be the original pet owner with photos of the pet as a baby. Then you demand it back, and eventually you agree to take the money instead. Lots of pets look alike as babies, especially if you didn't actually own them at the time. It might be worth doing a reverse image search on the images they sent you. See if they are just publicly available. That's scary he found your address though. Do you know who this person is? Could you be being scammed by an acquaintance? And someone replied, it really isn't hard to find someone's address. Your voter registration is public, and that usually has your address on it, plus dozens of other ways. Smells like a scam. Cats can also look really similar to each other despite distinctive markings. I once mistook a new stray cat for mine because he had the same white feet, same white paws, same coloring, etc. Sometimes I find photos and videos online, and wow, do these cats look like they could have been mine too. Plus, you can't really say a 6-month-old kitten looks the same as an adult cat. Cats do change features as they mature. So they are bullcrapping you saying that they recognize their cat. Anyway, you can send them a cease and desist letter, and if they continue to harass you, you can explore further options. And our next post, Legal Advice was right. It was a cat scam. Update to the pet theft accusations, PA. Some Legal Advice posters thought it might have been a scam. I was skeptical because they hadn't asked for money, even after things had dragged on for a while. Well, I guess they were playing the long con, because I just got my first letter suggesting a few $100s might just assist the owner to move on from their loss. As a bonus, it was sent on a letterhead from a non-existent lawyer's office. If I don't pay the cat fee, they plan to sue. My favorite part is they don't specify for what exactly. They're just gonna sue, you know, like lawyers do. I'm still kind of worried that they might try to steal Kitty and demand a ransom. Kitty is indoor only, chipped, and rarely left alone. On days I do have to work in the office, I've been taking him in with me. But yeah, I'm thinking this is one of the weirder catfishing schemes on record. I tried to tell Kitty about his custody dispute, but he just yawned in my face and joined his big brothers for a celebratory afternoon nap. Though he did hack up a hairball on my pillow yesterday. Paying someone else to take him is starting to look pretty tempting. And our next post, update the exceptionally stupid ending to the cat scam saga. Cat now has a no contact order. You all thought it was over, so did I. But no, turns out this story really could get weirder. Someone on the Bowler thread suggested reporting the letters to the local bar association. I ignored the first two, but when they kept arriving, I went ahead and did so. I assume the bar association took some kind of action because the next letter I received was basically the scammer raging, "How dare you!" This was the first letter that contained an actual threat against my safety. So, to cut this already way too long story short, I filed a police report. After some additional letters, my cat now has a no contact order. Okay, it's in my name, but we all know it's really for the cat. I will say, the threats were of the more creative, less actionable sort, but I'm hoping this will truly put an end to this. This is honestly the single dumbest thing I've ever gone through. My cat continues not to care. And that's all for this saga. What did you think of that cat scam? I thought it was pretty interesting and pretty lucrative. I wonder how many people get away with it. Anyway guys, on to the next story. My roommate is accusing me of grand larceny. I've been forced out of my home, and my belongings are currently being thrown out of the window and onto the street. NYC. I'm sorry if the text is one big block, I'm on mobile. I don't really know what to say, I'm baffled. I've been living with a new roommate for about 3 months. 2 weeks ago, my roommate accused me of stealing $3,700 out of his bedroom, and swears up and down that it was me because he has quote-unquote footage. He also filed a restraining order. According to the police report, this theft occurred between the hours of 4 AM to 5 AM of August 22nd, 2019. However, during this time, I was about an hour away from home, and I have receipts to prove it. I went to a 24-hour CVS and a bank that places me somewhere else. Not only that, but I was at the airport at 6 AM going on vacation. This was not me. I didn't get word of what was going on until 3 days into my vacation, and was told I was wanted for grand larceny and fleeing the country. As soon as I came back to New York on the 28th, I called the detective and set up a meeting. When I did meet him, I showed him the receipts and provided him with my license plate to prove that I was not in the neighborhood the day of. He very much nonchalantly brushed me off and let me know he'll get around to my case because he has more important cases to take care of. However, this is literally ruining my life. I have not been home since coming back, and I've been staying with a friend. My roommate is literally squatting in the apartment and ransacking my room. I got a call this morning that he broke into my room and is currently throwing all my possessions out of my second-story window. I'm a student, and I can't afford a lawyer right now. I'm about to head to my apartment, and I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to do. Any advice is appreciated. VTief says, your roommate can't just kick you out. Call the landlord and call the police. He cannot just kick you out. If you've signed a lease and or have proof that you lived there, he cannot just kick you out. You can call the police and ask for an escort to get your stuff. Lawyer Not Your Lawyer says, so your roommate doesn't have a restraining order. He has merely filed for one. Were you served? This sounds like your roommate is blowing smoke up your butt while he ransacks your room. This also sounds like hard drugs are involved. Your story makes it sound like there is nothing stopping you from returning back to your apartment. Call the police and tell them your roommate has broken into your room. Request to be escorted and or have the roommate arrested as, get this, someone is committing a burglary and larceny and it isn't you. Therapist of Penn Island says, who told you there's a restraining order and that you're wanted? If you were wanted, which usually would mean a warrant, then the detective most likely would have taken you in during your meeting. I'm guessing both are 100% bullcrap. Call your landlord immediately and call the police. Get them to meet you at your apartment, because it is yours just as much as theirs, and tell them what's going on. And our next update. My roommate is accusing me of grand larceny. I've been forced out of my home and my belongings are currently being thrown out of the window and onto the street. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for the support and the advice given to me. I did not expect such a huge amount of outreach. When I posted yesterday, it was just a jumble of words that I put together without putting in much thought, because, well, I just got a phone call telling me all my things were being thrown out the window, and I pretty much panicked. For some context, I've been living in the same apartment complex for about 4 years. I'm very well acquainted with the neighbors, security, superintendent, and so on. So while I was away on vacation, when the accusation happened, my roommate went around the complex to anyone who would listen that I stole $3,700. I'm wanted for arrest and there's a restraining order refraining me from even coming onto the premises. This is how I was able to get the information through word of mouth. So from all the advice that I was given, I decided to check on this RO and couldn't find it at all in the system. Turns out my roommate merely just filed a police report and none of the things I was hearing was true. So I go to my apartment complex and a lot of my things were in garbage bags and was thrown out of the window. My things were everywhere. So I called the police. I let them know the situation and they came into the apartment with me along with my landlord. My room was indeed broken into and trashed. Many of my valuables such as my laptop, some sentimental jewelry that was given to me, shoes, etc. were all missing. I was devastated. I filed a police report with the officers and stated everything that was missing and took a lot of pictures and video like many of you stated. During all of this, my roommate was there and it also looked as if other people started living there too. Turns out my roommate is using this situation to now squat on the property, not pay rent, and also brought other people and friends to live there as well? Unfortunately, because of this, there was no arrests, even though all of my valuables were missing, and half of my things were scattered across the street. The police said that because there is so many people coming in and out of the apartment, and no witnesses were there, they were not able to arrest anyone. I was advised that this was a matter of civil, I think, court, and I would have to settle this there. They also advised me that I could stay here, but they believed that it wasn't in my best interest or my safety to stay, since he seemed violent and will be squatting on the property anyway, which can take months to evict. So they escorted me into my room to collect whatever else I had left, and I am now still staying with my friend. As for my lease, my landlord is understanding and feels sorry for everything that's happened. We are mutually agreeing to end the lease without any problems. I don't really have a place to call home now, and I pretty much have to start over, since I was only able to grab clothes. Even if I did end up grabbing all my things, I wouldn't have anywhere to put it. In hindsight, I felt foolish for being tricked. I guess this is a do-over, but thanks to all of you, at least I know the next steps to take, and have some understanding of what to do now, and I find comfort in that. Again, thank you. And our next post by BotCreon, titled, My dog got into a fight with a smaller dog. Owner asks for $1,000, but won't show me vet bills. Hello there from San Francisco, California. I posted a couple of days ago to r/dogs, asking opinions after being threatened by a neighbor who was friends with a dog that my dog bit. You can see the post here. I don't have any issues with helping this dog and his owner, but he's refusing to show me any vet bills because he's claiming that SFPD is telling him not to give me any information about himself. He refuses to show me pictures of injuries. He refuses to show me vet bills. He just wants me to pay him money. He's saying that today is the last day that he will have to make a decision whether he should sue and try to get my dog killed because he doesn't want a deadly dog living in the neighborhood. This is not true. Dogs will be dogs, and sometimes they fight, and we are aware of his toy aggression. He was already going to start training to have this problem solved prior to this incident. I guess he's going to be okay with him living here if he gets paid though. What am I exactly asking here? If this wasn't about my dog whom I love dearly, I would tell him to go away immediately. But since it's about my boy, I can't risk anything. I just want to know what you guys think he can possibly do. Is there any chance he can touch my dog because he wants money? Update: I don't really care about the $1,000, and I know I don't have to pay him anything without proof. I am concerned about my dog, and I would like to know whether he can just threaten me to have my dog put down. Ooh, YetiPube says, he can't win in court with those bills. He'll also look like an ass for not trying to settle this by being reasonable, which is to provide you with the bills. About the disconcerting part, the safety of your dog. Your dog was leashed while the other one was not. This is a significant plus for your defense. You may want to get ahead of this and schedule some training with your dog ASAP. Avoid public situations where you might not have full control of your dog until you do. And OP replies, I'm taking him to SPCA tomorrow to expedite the process. He's adopted from SPCA and they offer free training, but they have been very slow and unresponsive with this. We've been mailing for over a month now and there is still no date on when he's going to start. To answer your question, my dog was leashed and his dog wasn't. He claims it was not the case though. I'll try to get the videos from my building since it happened in my building's park. Is the park an off-leash area? No, it's just a park area next to my building. Small park for dogs to relieve themselves with benches and stuff. So he's subject to a city leash laws, correct? That makes the dog bite his fault, and I wouldn't pay him a dime. And Alter Ego Slewville says, I'd just tell him to show you the vet bills and injuries first. If he doesn't, stop replying. Keep all his texts for if he does take you to court. Someone who honestly cares about their animals wouldn't tell you they can't show you anything. They would want it taken care of. Sounds like he just wants money. Edit to add, your dog was on a leash, the other wasn't. You are not at fault. Dogs will be dogs. Don't give your info to anyone who isn't the owner of the dog that was bitten. And now, on to our update. Nothing happened until this morning when I received a phone call from San Francisco Dangerous Dogs Unit. They told me that there will be a hearing on whether my dog will be destroyed or not. They said they will look at the video and make a decision. I am extremely confused and concerned about this, mostly terrified. My dog has no prior incidents that got escalated or reported. He is just 13 months old. It is true that he's not fond of sharing his bowl, but is this really a reason to see if my dog needs to be destroyed? I am currently freaking out. I cannot lose my boy. What are my legal rights to protect him? This gives a pretty good rundown of the process of how you would prepare, and you can appeal any decision out of the police hearing to the Superior Court. And the link here is a refinedcanine.com reference, saying what really happens with a dog bite in San Francisco. OP says, thank you for the links. I've been reading as much as I could, but had never seen that Refined Canine post. What really concerned me was that the officer said the hearing would be to decide whether the city would destroy my dog or not. And Sir Johnny S says, I hope this is on your reading list. It's from library.amlegal.com, talking about more laws. It is not typical to order dogs put down for their first bite per the link. You may get a fine because, well, your dog did bite theirs. You may also be asked to pay their vet bills. though they need to provide documentation, not just what they think they should get. You seem least concerned about the financial aspect. If there is video and it is apparent that you were following the leash law, and the fact that wasn't being followed, and it would have been prevented if it will help your case. I'm inclined to think the argument your dog is vicious and in public's best interest he's destroyed is pretty weak. I'm sure you're looking for reassurance that the worst case scenario won't happen. No one can say it absolutely won't, but it seems very unlikely. Best of luck. And now our last update to the story. This happened a couple of months ago, and I forgot to update you guys. I guess I just kind of wanted to forget what happened. Here is the rundown of what I did and what the outcome was. I started talking to my neighbors who know my dog, and I asked all of them to write what they thought about my dog, while being aware of the incidents, and thankfully, everyone wrote very nice things about my dog and us as owners. We went to the hearing, and there were many people there for their own dog-related incidents. After signing up, a police officer asked me and my girlfriend to have a word. I will not say who he was, but he was basically aware of the situation, and he thought that we should not be there. He assured us that we should be fine even though the hearing started. There were a couple incidents we heard prior to ours, and that they all were related to dogs biting humans. We were the only ones there over a dog fighting another dog. They called the person who sued me on stand, and that's when the show started. He did really put a show for everyone. He mentioned that his dog was dead for minutes, but he resuscitated his dog. He mentioned that there was blood everywhere. He started crying and sobbing. He actually said that he tried to pull his dog from my dog's mouth, but he thought this dog's skin was coming off. I know it sounds all bad, but don't worry because none of this happened and his dog was fine. My dog did really bite him, but it was a bark bite where he penetrated skin only and let go. He had pictures with him, and he thought those pictures would help his argument, but it really did not. It looked like the dog had just gotten scratched. Once he was done, it was our turn to speak. We kept it cool and explained what happened. We told the judge what we were doing to make sure this would never happen again. I also mentioned how he was asking for money and refusing to show me any bills. And that was it. I called 3 weeks later, and I was notified that our dog was not deemed danger to anyone. I know it's been a while, and people who gave me opinions here most likely won't see it, but I wanted to thank everyone. Alright guys, that's the end of this story today, and that's the end of this episode. Tell me what you thought of it down below, and if you want to see more, click on the playlist on screen, or down in the comments. Whatever you'd like, and I hope that you just have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!